Welcome to Coffee and Tarot with Mama T. My name is Teresa, and I am welcoming you in for a VR to the tarot tag, The Crone Within. I got this idea from Debbie's Witchy Vlog, and she got the idea from somebody else. I don't remember their tag, but I will take both of them in the description. So on this one, these are pretty deep questions, and so I decided to use my Circle of Doors tarot for the tarot cards to respond to these questions. And they're pretty deep and introspective, so I took some time today to pull the cards and get them laid out and ready to go. And it just takes a while for me to shuffle, especially on these deep introspective questions. So, and I like to use my pendulum to confirm. After I've pulled the card, I'll lay the card down and then I'll use the pendulum to confirm whether or not it was the right card for that question. And so it's just kind of a lengthy process. And yeah, so anyway, all of that to say the cards are already pulled. Let's have a look. The first question in this tag is, what truth have I carried in silence for too long? And the card that I get here is the Matriarch. This is a number 4 card, so it's a similar. This deck is very deep. It's really kind of hard to see it on camera, to see the nuanced detail. These are fine art photographs that were taken by the authors of this, the creators of this deck, Anne Staveley and Jill Sutherland. The guidebook is excellent, and it was written by Brian Duffy. And so they took all of these photographs, and they're layered photographs, multiple exposures on each frame. And these are, and all of the people that are involved are all female. This is a very divine feminine deck, a very, very witchy deck. So this is a perfect one for the tarot tag of the Crone Within. Anyway, for that question, the truth I've carried in silence for too long is the Matriarch. It's the same as the Emperor card. It's the same position in the major arcana. And I would say that this one came up for me because I've been doubtful of my own ability to live up to it. The guidebook talks a little bit about discipline and having discipline in order to be entrusted with all of the keys that this position carries. And I'm not a super disciplined person. So that's one reason why I've carried this in silence. But leadership, I've always felt like leadership is my calling. The last time I had a major leadership experience in work, though, I had such a terrible time with it that I've, I don't know if it's poisoned the well for leadership for me forever. I don't know. Or, any like deep, meaningful leadership experiences in as far as work goes. Maybe in other areas of my life, but I'm not sure about work. So anyway, knowing that leadership is my calling is something that I have carried in silence. The next question for this tag is, let me see, I've got them written down here. What boundary is asking to be blessed, not just justified? And I get the Eight of Shells, and mastery is the key word here, which I really like that for the Eight of Shells. Eight of Shells is the same thing as Eight of Pentacles or Eight of Coins. And I think that the boundary, I'm asking for that boundary to not just be justified, but blessed. I want and need time and space and quiet in order to practice my craft and to live in my creativity. And it's a boundary I want the people in my life to not just respect it, but to be happy, to honor it because of the happiness and the fulfillment that I get out of having that time. So that's a good one for that answer. Oh, I've got these little tiny gnat flies that are making me crazy in my house. I've got the little yellow stickers in all of my plants, and slowly but surely they're almost gone, but there's still a few hangers on. Okay, the next question is, what part of me is ripening in the dark? And the card I get here is Strength. In this card you can see images of a lion over here. And then several images of, it looks like maybe multiple generations of women. Here's like a fist being raised right here. And this is ripening in the dark for me. I have a limitless well of power within my mind, body, and spirit. And as I'm learning to prioritize my health, my physical health and my mental health and my spiritual health, I only become stronger as I age. People that regret aging, I don't understand that because I just think life keeps getting better. So, and I just feel more powerful as I get older. Okay, next question is, well, there come my dogs. Oh, they're just chasing my cat, and she escaped. The next question is, what wisdom do I hold that others fear? And I get the Maga of Shells. So Maga is in this deck obviously does not mean what Americans think it means. This is it's an Italian word or Latin word for a female wizard. This is in the same position as the Queen, so the Queen of Pentacles. And the key word here on this one I liked is believer. I'd never really associated that concept of believer with the Queen of Pentacles. But what they wrote in the deck, in the book, in the guidebook, I kind of was thinking about it in terms of what they wrote. And I think what others may fear is that I have this pure manifesting power. I mean, I don't always get what I want, but when my wants are aligned with what God wants for me or what the universe wants for me, then my manifesting is pretty strong. I'm also willing to take risks where I'm really optimistic for the reward, even if the rewards are like purely spiritual. They're not, I may not get financial gain from it, but the spiritual gain is enough for me. And then my ability to sense shifts in the collective consciousness or in trends in the world. I see and hear and know things that are of a mysterious nature, and sometimes those abilities freak people out. I really do believe in potential. I believe in optimism and the good in us all, except when I don't. Sometimes I'm cynical, but I mean, for most of the time, I mean, deep down, I can really find the good in just about anything. And when that can be fearsome for some people. All right, next question is the story I must compost in order to walk away and move forward. So the story I really just need to put in the compost pile and leave behind. And the card I get is the Nine of Knives and Despair. And this is so perfect for me. I'm a lifelong sufferer of depression. And when I first saw this card, I felt it in my bones. I mean, you see this woman here, you see she's got tears running down her face. She's definitely distraught and in despair about something and just in anguish. And then here you can see this image of her kneeling, just hunched up and, you know, just crumbling in despair. And I could relate so much to this image just because I have been there so many times in my life. And this is the story that I need to walk away from in order to move forward. It's got no place in my life any longer. Healing comes from releasing control over the things that I don't, you know, especially the things that they were never mine to monitor to begin with. I just need to keep repeating to myself, like Mel Robbins says, I'm okay, I am safe, I am loved. I'm okay, I am safe, I am loved. And just walk away from that despair. It needs to go in the trash heap, in the compost pile. Okay, the next question is, what mask am I ready to burn? And the card I get is the Six of Cups. So, the Six of Cups is normally a very happy card, and people like to see the Six of Cups in their readings because it's the card of nostalgia and childhood and innocence. Innocence is the key word on here. And, you know, for me, all of my childhood memories and nostalgic moments do come with a little bit of pain around the edges. I had a pretty good childhood for the most part, and you know, a lot of neat experiences and a lot of good people. But at the age that I am, I'm 57. So many of those memories have loss associated with it now. Those people are gone, they're buried, they've moved so far away, and there's just no getting them back. There's, you know, philosophical differences that have kept us apart. So, you know, I have those happy memories, but they are bittersweet. So, and I think childhood is hard. I think it's really hard. And I think it's really hard now in this day and age. It's super hard. And so, this idea of childhood and innocence, that's just not something that I'm just not super warm and fuzzy with that whole concept. I just I think a lot of times of the difficulties of childhood, and you could not pay me any amount of money to repeat being a child. I just it's sweet, but there was enough bitter on it that's a mask I'm ready to not wear. Okay, the next cup. Sorry, the next card I get is, what grief is sacred enough to name aloud? I don't even like talking about this because I am, it's so easy for me to get into despair over, talking about grief things. So I'm going to try to, whatever this is, I'm going to try to breeze past it a little bit. I'll journal more on it later, but I don't want to get into, a grief feeling right now. But what grief is sacred enough to name aloud? And I get, yeah, that makes sense. I get the Three of Cups, and the key word is coven. And I don't really have a coven. I have a very tiny, tiny coven of my wife and my daughter. I've got other friends, but they are not. They're just not part of my deep daily existence like I wish they were, and I've always wished for them to be. Um, but and I have a lot of grief about it. I mean, this is appropriate. I mean, I've tried to build and invest in friendships, but it's been pretty elusive for me. Part of it is at different times in my life, I think that I was a bit much to take. Like, people just didn't have the room in their life for all of me. I'm just such a, it's kind of overwhelming. I had a friend tell me once that my love, my friendship love was overwhelming, and and just probably too much, and it probably was. Life is just transitional. People are busy. Nobody really seems to have room in their lives for me to insert myself. And I think, especially as a crone, it seems like my value has diminished as my children have grown and flown the nest. That people, I don't have that built-in excuse to, let's get together, let's get the kids together, we'll get together while the kids are doing such and such and have coffee or whatever. So people just don't, I guess they don't feel like there's a good enough excuse to spend time with me or whatever. I've always really valued my friends whose kids were grown, or women who didn't have children, just because I felt like they were more accessible and available. But it doesn't seem to be coming back to me as I'm entering and living in this crone part of my existence. So last year I called it the year of the friend, and I spent, I made a very intentional effort to have coffee and lunches and, getting together with my friends on a really regular basis. And that just seems to have gone by the wayside. And I grieve about that. Okay, moving on to something else. What's the next question? The next question is, what does my rage protect and what does it reveal? And I get the Hermit. This card, this is a powerful Hermit. She is just blending into the environment around her. You can barely see her. You can see her staff. You can see her light that she is shining. But she just blends into this forest. And this really makes sense for me. I do call myself the Hermit fairly frequently. And I guess that might explain and reveal why I don't have a coven beyond my daughter and my wife, because I'm always being the hermit. Without alone time or deep alone time. Deep alone time to study or reflect or spend time with my cards or just have a retreat, I do become angry and rageful and resentful. And so it's really something that I protect with ferocity. So yeah, I think that probably reveals a little bit of my lack here. Next question is, what ritual will help me release what no longer serves? And I get the Wheel of Fortune. And there's all of these different objects spread around this Wheel of Fortune here, and all of these various faces in the middle. The Wheel of Fortune, I mean, it's something I really live. I Everything is always changing. The wheel in the sky keeps on turning, as Journey says, and I believe I believe in that. I believe in and I prepare for my luck to change, whether it's going to get better or get worse. This too shall pass. I tell myself that all the time, even when I'm in the midst of immense joy. I'll tell myself this too shall pass, so I don't attach too much to it and then become more, you know, depressed and sad and despairing when things do change. You know, that intense joy can't last forever. Otherwise, I mean, you wouldn't understand joy if you always had it. So, you know, I use rituals to help me release things. They're a lot of times they're tied to the cycles of the moon, like the full moon. Every full moon, I have a release ritual where I write down the things that I am releasing that I want to let go of, and I burn them. And I also burn my new moon wishes from the previous new moon. There's different calendar portals that I use for releasing. Every day I stir my coffee 3 times clockwise for the things that I'm manifesting and 3 times counterclockwise for the things that I'm releasing. I frequently ponder on the Serenity Prayer and recite the Serenity Prayer. And then I have an oracle deck called the Power of Surrender cards, and I frequently use that to help me to release things. So, yeah, release is a big deal to me. Okay, last card. The last card is, what is the legacy I choose to leave behind out of, not out of duty, but out of devotion? And I get the Witch card. It's a number 5, so it could be the Hierophant, and I'm a Taurus, so this would be my card. You can see this woman's face from various ages of life, it looks like. She's making different hand signals, holding different objects of importance. So, I mean, this is one of my cards. I claim it. My legacy is my reclaimed power, and the ability to carry words of the spirit and our ancestors and nature and wisdom. And I'm claiming the role of a caretaker of that ritual and the wisdom and healing practices that I want to pass to my loved ones and to the people around me. I am connected. I'm connection. I'm both healing and healed. I am trusting and I am intuitive. I feel called to the work, and I call on spirit, and I extend that calling to other people around me too. I consider I am the high priestess. I am the empress. I am the emperor. I'm the queen. I'm the hierophant. I mean, this one here is the emperor too. It's the matriarch. I am the matriarch of my family, and I am the witch. So that is my legacy. Well, this was a very fun one, very introspective VR to do. So I want to thank Debbie at Debbie's Witchy Vlog for sharing her version of it so that I could respond to it. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. I appreciate you being here, and I hope you have a great evening.